Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Jersey and today we are back. We are working on part 3 of our boathouse build, dock area, and today we are going to be working on all the item placements. So when it comes to item placements, something that we need to talk about, this is all going to be very subjective, right? Because the way I want to place my items may not be the same way you want to place yours. So the idea behind all the item placements is for you to get an idea of how everything can look, or how full or how not so full. You decide when you come to this part of the build is how you want to approach it. Do you want to make your dock feel very full, very empty, kind of medium? Do you want it to feel like it's being worked on, or do you want it to be a nice, clean looking dock? So when it comes to that, item placement is going to be very subjective. So my approach, I wanted this dock to feel very full, very like every storage unit, everybody has their own place, and next to it, they got their crates, they got their boxes. Maybe they're just finished fishing and they dump their fish in like in these aquariums, and that's where they have them. They got their crab traps. If anything that you could think of, I kind of wanted to make it feel a little more livable and kind of busy some areas. Like, wow, this area is kind of full. So the way that I started approaching is little by little, layer by layer, just adding and see what it felt like and see what it looked like, and just to see if I wanted to go higher or lower. So one of the ways that I wanted to do this area is I wanted to feel like some of the crates are stacked. So what you're seeing right here is it's an idea, and I kind of retweak it a couple more times throughout the video, but we can't right now stack any of the boxes, any of the crates, any of the barrels. You can't stack them higher, but you can create the illusion. And that's what I was gonna try to do, is create an illusion and then add a little bit of height variant in that illusion. So as you see right here, we are raising the deck, right? And it's still hardwood, so it kind of blends. But then I'm trying to hide the best that I can the little wood. So when you look at it from far away, or you just walking by, so you kind of see the height difference and the height levels. And that's the way to approach it. And as we go back and forth, we're gonna see that I change. Instead of putting the same boxes, maybe I put a box crate on the top, but then a barrel on here, and a barrel maybe on the front to try to hide here, and then I change that barrel on the top and I put a crate, and then we go back and forth into a point that I feel like that's the best that I could do, the best way that I could approach it to kind of hide the fact that I just elevated the dirt and try to make it feel like I was stacking boxes in that corner or in the other corner. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to imagine when you look at fish markets, fishing docks and stuff like that, you know, they have like sometimes these trays, right, where maybe they're gonna kind of clean the fish and all that stuff. So I was thinking, oh, I can use the feeders and kind of put them in there, so it makes it feel like maybe the people, as soon as they're done fishing, they're gonna clean the fish or they're gonna do something with those trays. And that way I also had more items, more variety in the dock in this area. So I like the feeders. I think it's gonna give it a different type of look, a different type of feel. I think it's an item that we may not be thinking on using it this way, and I think it worked out, and I do feel more comfortable and I do enjoy it. So know that. So the other thing that I was thinking as well is like, okay, so if I want to do that, I kind of want to have more fish in the dock. So it's like people are coming in, people are done fishing, you know, now they're coming back to put their ducks away, but they gotta dump their fish in a cooler. Maybe they're still alive and all that. So I was thinking, okay, so if I place fish that I catch around this area, then I can place them in the dock. It also will give it a little bit of a little nighttime vibe and light to the build at the same time, and then a little more movement because the fish are they're moving a little, they're just there. So what you see me right now here, I didn't have any fish at the moment, so I just went ahead and started fishing, and especially fishing of the fishes that are around this area. That way it kind of make more sense with the build, that like they just went around, they went fishing. It's a coastal town, and we have a lot of water. One of the approaches that I done in this coastal town is I wanted to have more water, more docks, more ways to fish. This is why for me it was important that I make sure that I had the right depth, so the fish can actually populate and spawn in this area so we can fish. And this was fun. I haven't fished in a while, like fish in a while, and the mechanics are great. I enjoy fishing. I think fishing in Dinkum is awesome. It's really good. It has a little bit of a challenging, and the way you gotta wait and catch the fish and all that. So I think it's great. And if you don't fish a lot, just go out fish. It's fun. It's relaxing, and if you build areas so you can go fishing, I think it's just a fun play that you can do for in Dinkum, right? It's just fun. Okay, so as you see my character, he's gonna continue fishing and all that. Item placement. Let's keep talking about the item placement, the way to approach it, and because I think this item placement, the way I did mine, at the end it's gonna be very full, but I wanted that. I just want to make it clear because I think when it comes to item placement and the way we can approach our builds when it comes to the item layer, or what looks good, using your imagination so far to make it feel like this dock is livable and people are using it, it's gonna be a different type of approach. And I want you to feel confident, and I want you to feel comfortable, or whatever you want to use, whatever at the moment you're thinking, and they're like, oh, you know what could be good? I can use this item over here. Maybe you want to put benches in your dock. Maybe you want to use some chairs, and it's kind of like people are sitting and fishing. When you're following the build, when you're following the layout, like I always say in every video, these are just layouts for you to get inspired, for you to follow something, because I know sometimes it's hard to go from one area to the next, or how to approach a build, or how to build something that you may want to do but you don't know how to do it. And always remember, always feel free to copy this build all the way to the last detail if you need to, and then tweak them as you're building it. And then as you get more confident, you'll be able then to tweak it even more, redo it, do a whole different design to it, and just add the items that you want to add. If you want to add benches, you want to add chairs, you want to add tools to it, you just want to have all the docks on the water, you want to have all the boathouses on top of the dock, approach it in a way that's going to make you truly happy. And when you're looking at it, you're happy with what you have created. You want to put flowers, you want to put seashells, anything that you want to approach it, just approach it with that mentality. Because when it comes to item placements, when it comes to all of that, it's always going to be subjective, right? What you see me adding, what you see me putting, I know that you could feel like it's like, and I don't know, man, he put a little too crowded. I would have done a little lighter. I would have put a little less things. And this is why, when we're building, the design that's in our minds is always going to be different. And I want you to know that that's completely okay, because what I find, what I'm trying, my approach might be a little bit different than what you're trying to approach for you in that particular moment. And when you think about it that way, then be relaxed, be joyful, and add the items that you really want, and if you want your dog to be a different color, do that. You want to use another fence, you want to use a different type of lights, because at one point here, as my character is still fishing and all of that, we are gonna add a little light atmosphere, right? And you can approach it also in different ways. You can use tiki torches, you can use the copper lamps, you can use more city style of the lamps, you can use more of the gumwood lamps or the hardwood lamps. There's different type of light source that you can use in this dock, and that's gonna go always with the aesthetic that you are trying to create. So always think about that. It's like, okay, so I'm coming from this side of the island and I'm coming to here. Do you want to continue the aesthetic of where you're coming from, or are you trying to create a new aesthetic for your this specific build? So I'm using a lot of hardwood, I'm using a lot of that dark tone, and we have the festive lights that are with gumwood. So the lamps that I decided to start using once we get there, they're gonna be the hardwood posts, you know. And I wanted that look. I didn't want to use the older ones. I didn't want to use the copper. I didn't want to use the city. I wanted that light because it was a little softer as well. So I just want to create a different type of mood when it comes to the dock. Okay, so here we are still doing item layer. So you see it, and don't be afraid to keep trying and put a lot of things down, walk it, look at it again, come back, take them off, put other stuff, move things around, you know, go back and forth, because item placement, that's how I feel like that's the approach you gotta do. You gotta put things down, and that doesn't mean it's gonna be there the very first time you put it down. You may have to tweak it again as you're walking around, and then you're adding more items in different area. Then you're gonna feel what area needs more item, what area needs less items, and then if you need to move them around, maybe there's something that you're trying to create, maybe there's a feel that you're trying to do of busyness, or a little more calm, a little more organized, and you gotta start thinking as you're placing your items. Start thinking that it's more like, okay, this particular area here, do I want it to feel busy, or do I want it to feel organized, or do I want it to look messy, like it's just things are just scattered everywhere and it doesn't make any sense? Because that's also an approach. Not everywhere that you go is nice and neat and tidy, right? If you look pictures online, some of those dogs are very busy, and you look at it, they're dirty, they're not organized, they're crates everywhere, and just in picture it may not make any sense. So you can approach it that way and just put things everywhere, like just people, oh, this is like a storage back here's in the storage, like right here in the back. Originally I was gonna leave that little hallway, right, like empty, so we can walk behind the houses, the little storage units, and you walk behind it. But I felt like for me it was a little emptier. I wanted to be more busy. I wanted to be like more like people are storing a lot of these crates and all that stuff, and everything is just a little more cluttered, right? And so I wanted to feel that. So the way to get to this point, then you gotta use the dock and walk in front and use all the stairs. So what I did is I filled this area, I made it busy. I wanted to have a little more height variation between the crates and all that. And this, to make this illusion and all that, you're gonna have to start putting things in the front. You may have to take things out. And this little middle, you're gonna see, I'm gonna be tweaking it quite a bit to get it to a point that I'm really happy with everything. That way it feels good and all that. Here we're doing again a little more high variation, because that way when you're walking from the top, from the very top area of the deck, and you're looking into there, you're gonna see different height. That way everything is not just flat, just sitting in one level. You know, I feel like creating height, creating depth is something that gives more dimension. It gives them more life to your map, to your area, to visually what you're looking at. It's just, I feel like it's a little more pleasant instead of just everything being just perfect. It's just a little bit of height, a little bit of this. Nothing is completely perfect, and you're gonna see, like I say, you're gonna see me placing a lot of items, and then I take them back, and I'm gonna be moving them back and forth. Like this section here, at first I was like, okay, what if I make a wall of this? But I was like, no, you know what? It doesn't look good. And then sometimes you, like what I'm doing right there, I'm just grabbing crates and move them and see how it looks. Maybe this one looks better. Or what about if I use this one? Or what about if I twist this around? Put him in this high, put him this low, and you just gotta keep playing, you know. And some of these the kegs, what I did, I was flipping them in another direction, kind of to hide the nozzle. That way it just looks more like barrels, just in this in that position instead of just seeing the nozzle. So you hide that, and then you start moving things around. Here I'm using some of the machines that look is this to make milk, right? But if just using your imagination, it's kind of like a machine. Maybe it's for fish, maybe it's for something else, maybe it's to process something. It's just also to give it something else to look at when you're doing item placement and have a different type of tone. So now we got like a metallic, silver type of tone in the dock area, and kind of like an equipment and all that. So here we're slowly, I want to start placing the lights. I want to see where I can put them and where the light is kind of spreading, and that way in the future, as I'm keep placing items, I know where I need more light. And eventually, I think at the very end, the lights came really good. The nighttime shots, it looks, because right now it looks very dim in the dock area, right? Only a few light sources and all of that. But I think at the end, I think we managed to create an atmosphere that is good, that is warm, that it feels like a dock and it's not just overpowered and over bright. And this is something I always say: step back, look, stand there, take it in, taking what you're building, taking what you're decorating, look at the areas, look at the details, look at what you're trying to create, see if you like the height, see if you like how low everything is. Also check if you like how crowded it looks, or if you feel like it needs a little more items, and then don't be afraid to go take items off or put more items in, step back again and re-look at it. I can't emphasize truly how important it is to step back for a moment and look at your builds from as many angles as possible, and to not be afraid to try, you know. And I feel like by leaving a lot of this more trials in the videos, trial and error, instead of just giving you the last perfect moment of the build, just seeing how important it is to try and to keep trying to do things in the build. That way you feel like, okay, it takes time to get to that moment. And sometimes when you come in the next day, you're still seeing something new, because sometimes you need 1 day or you need 2 days to come back to the build, look at it again, and see if you truly like what you see. Because sometimes your mind gets exhausted and you're so tired of what you build that you feel like, oh, I'm good, it's good, I'm ready to move on. Because sometimes you're excited for the next thing you want to build. So step back, give it a break, come back the next day, start working on something else, then come back to this build and see if you feel like you need something. The good thing is about having part 1, part 2, part 3, it gives me time to read your feedback. It gives me time to analyze what you guys are telling me. You know, I love the comments, I love the feedback, because sometimes there's things that I'm not thinking or I'm missing, or maybe I didn't think about it, and some of them are really good. Some of them I'm like, I didn't think about that, but I wanted to do it this way. And because we are all different, we all are gonna approach all these builds in a different way. You know, the layout is the layout, and you can also tweak the layout. But when it comes to all this item placement, fencing, color, all of that, you know, it truly is gonna be depending on what you like. What's your favorite tile? What's your favorite bench? What's your favorite light? You know, maybe you like things really bright. Maybe you like things more dim. Maybe you feel like a dock should be completely dark at night and not have any light. And those approaches are what's gonna make always your islands different. They're gonna stand out. They're gonna be more unique. And then when we do island tours and we visit your island, we're gonna be like, wow, this is so cool. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about this. Because that's always gonna be the approach. We're not always gonna be thinking identically and thinking that I could do it this way because I'm gonna miss it. I'm not gonna be thinking like them. But sometimes by reading those feedback, reading those comments truly helps me to see if there's something that I truly want to change, something that I want to redo to approach it. And sometimes by doing this series and that it takes me time, it gives me time to read that. You guys get to see all the videos, put your feedback, for your comment, your approach, what would you have done different. And then sometimes that truly helps me to think more outside the box, and it's so great. So I always value your input. I always value your comments. You know, that's why I read them. I comment back. We go back and forth because they're truly important. Okay, so now I was placing the benches. You know, I decided at first I was not gonna put any benches up here on the walkway because I was thinking, oh no, because I can ride the motorbike. But you know what? I think benches are gonna be really nice. And like I said, you don't have to put benches, but I feel it's gonna give it more to the docking area. We can sit down, we can look down. It's also like a viewing point. I think it's gonna be nice. Then up here, I'm using the other style of lamps that matches the fence and kind of right in between. So I kind of move some of the benches so the light can fall right in between the two benches. So I think it was like, it's like 5 square space different between one bench and the other one, so you put it on the third, so you got 2 and 2. So right in the middle, you put that in, and then at night it gives this walkway a nice glow. We got benches. I think like when you're walking with the camera, it just gives it a nice view. It's just something more. But I just decided out of nowhere I wanted benches. At the end, everything can change. You know, down the road, I may feel like it's kind of annoying every time I'm riding the motorbike, and maybe I don't want them anymore. But at the moment, I feel like it just gives it that little extra touch in that walkway, in that top deck area. Okay, so slowly I wanted to start placing the items that I want on this balcony area, like where do I want the umbrellas, where do I want the seating, and how do I want it to place, and what kind of seating did I want. So as I was starting to think what's the approach that I wanted to do and how to approach this seating area, but I wasn't sure just yet. So, and I didn't have any of the furniture just yet, so I needed to kind of look at the catalog, order some furniture, and then kind of get them and then place them. So that's gonna come down a little more down the road. So the next thing is I had this idea of using this little box where we can put the animal traps and kind of send them, because it kind of looked like a little piece of like storage, or people are putting big crates in there, or people are unloading stuff. And I kind of play around with it. I play around and putting in different areas, maybe place them on the water, and maybe kind of pretending like this platform kind of, if they got something heavy, it raises and it goes to the deck. So you're gonna see me playing around with it in this section. But at the end, I didn't use any of them. I actually took everything out because I didn't feel like I didn't make it work the way I wanted to. I didn't like the look of it. But I think if my dog was bigger and I had more space for a specific area for that, and then you can maybe surround it with the crates and stuff like that, I think that would have worked. But at the moment, on this particular dog that I'm doing, I decided not to do it. If you like it, if you like what you see, and maybe some of the items that I'm using is too much for you, but you like this idea, and maybe you want to put it like I just did it here, above the water, or under the water, or right on top of the deck, or kind of like where a boat can kind of dock into it as well, and kind of their own load. So you can approach it, and I'm excited to see if any of you kind of use this type of item to add it to your dock, what you guys did with it. I think I do have an idea in my other dock that's gonna be for the sailboats. I think I want to use this for that particular dock, and I do have a vision for it, so hopefully everything works out. But I don't know the measurements of the sailboat, so I can't work on that dock until I kind of know all the measurements for the sailboat, so I can have the spacing and all of that correctly, and the dimensions that I want to build on the next dock. But I think I can make it work. And if you guys make it work, if you guys have ideas, leave them in the comment, because then it's something that I can use in the future, have it in my mind, so I can continue approaching all of that. So once again, I'm working still more of the lights because there's still some dark area. So I'm going to just keep working on different sections to keep adding lights where it feels like it's really dark, really dim. And so you see me walking around sometime with the light post, and I'm just trying to see, because for me, the light posts, I didn't want it just to be front center. I wanted to be in a specific way that they're kind of hidden. Like if you're looking for them, you see it, but I didn't want it just to be right there in the front, in the way, covering all the items. So I was trying to be more subtle, pressing them in the back, or next to one of the storage units, or next to a wall, or next to the stairs, but in the back. I didn't want it to be blocking any of the views, any of the item placement. So I was being more picky. And once again, being picky, I'm just being picky in my way. You could do it and approach it in a whole different way. Here, once again, I'm working on this layer system. I felt like I wanted to go a little more higher, because I think it feels kind of cool when you're coming from on the top where the benches, you kind of see more of the crates. So here I went ahead and raised it again one more higher. and then we're placing different items again, putting the hardwood, and just making a stack system that feels kind of good. And here I believe I raised it one more time, but then I put the barrel, and now the barrel is kind of hiding a little bit of the more of the back, more of the hardwood, and I place another one on the top. So kind of, so when you're in a particular angle, like especially not looking straight up, but more when you're walking, you got your camera kind of normal, it kind of hides all that. And that's what I mean by just playing around with it, and find something that you like, the way it feels, the way it looks, and just keep playing with it until you find something that you like, that it feels good. If you like that stacking system, because you know, a lot of places they stack the boxes, they stack everything up and all of that. So here I'm taking all this off. I decided that I truly did not like it. It just didn't, for me, it didn't feel right, didn't go with the dog. It took a lot of the space of the water that I wanted as well in different areas. And I truly believe that I'm planning to use this item, but I'm gonna use them in my other dock that is gonna be a whole different theme, a whole different build, a whole different scenario and feel to it. And I think that's gonna be a good item for it. So now we're just refixing the dock, right? We gotta fix all this, raise everything back up, place everything the way we had it. That way it's all nice, it's all clean, and it just, so everything starts being in the place where everything was before we start moving for the next part. But slowly the dock is getting full, right? We're getting all the items, everything is being placed, everything is feeling good. I feel like I'm getting that vibe that people just went out fishing. There's all the boats, you got all these tools, you got all these crates and all that. Everything looks busy, and I think it's a good feel. I feel like people are living in the island, people are using the dock. It's not just nice and neat, and it just approaching this build in this way. It made me really happy and more confident on what we are accomplishing, what we are doing, and I feel like we're getting there. We're truly getting there with all the help, with all the feedback that you all have given. It's a good build, you know, and I'm very happy with everything, the way everything is turning out right now. We just gotta keep doing it slowly and slowly, and this is why it's so important that when you're doing stuff like this, you take it step by step, day by day, you know, moment by moment. You don't have to be in a hurry to finish a build right away. As you can see, you know, it takes me sometimes 3 days to upload one video, you know, because you know there's a lot of trial and error, there's a lot of ways to approach it, there's a lot of ways to test, you know. And in these videos I leave a lot of the, when I start recording, I leave a lot of it in, but a lot of the times, you know, I do test runs, you know, to see how things look, to see if I'm confident enough that I want to record this, if this is the way that I want to go and do this build. And yeah, and when you do it that way, take your time, don't be in a hurry, you know, just do what you want, see how it feels, approach it that way, work on your layer system, work on your decorate item, don't be afraid to try things and all of that. Like always, one tip, if you really want to go nuts on trying something new, right, and you want to try to do all this item placement, start your day and go and just do that. Just work on, okay, I'm gonna try to accommodate everything this way, right? And you do all these changes, you move all the items, and then you're at the end, you're like, oh, I hate this, I don't like this. Just go back to the main menu. Don't go to sleep. Just go back to the main menu, restart the game, and you're back to where everything you had it the last time. And it's a good way to testing, you know. Let's say you wanna, I'm curious if I wanna extend the dock, coming this way and stretch it and maybe make it an L shape over here. Do it. Go ahead and do it when you're starting the game. Do what you wanna do, and then if at the end you don't like it, instead of having to redo everything, just back out to the main menu, log back in, and everything is back to where you had it. And I use that trick a lot because sometimes I want to test things out, so I make sure that it's right at the beginning of the day. I haven't done anything else. I go in and I'm testing my idea. And I test it and I try it, and if I like it, great, and if I don't, then I completely back out. Everything's back to where it was in the very beginning, and then I try another idea. And I do that a lot, especially because I don't want to just record every trial every single time that I'm trying something else, because then these videos, even by doing this spit build and just spitting it up, the videos will be always 2-3 hours long. You know, if I recall, every time I'm trying a build, every time I'm trying to do an approach, anything like that, they will be so long, you know. So I do that off camera. I try a couple things, I try my best, and then if I feel like I got something, then I'm ready to record, and then we can start recording. But that trick of starting something right in the beginning of the day, from building, from decorating, to breaking something down because you think it doesn't look good, and you break it down, then you're like, you know what, it looked better the way I had it before. That's the great thing. You go back to the main menu, log back in, everything is back there. Just remember, don't fall asleep, because if you go to sleep, everything you did, it would stay, and then you truly gotta rebuild. Okay, so as you saw, and I was just talking and giving, you know, a couple of little tips the way I approach things. I went to the other dog. I kind of the old dog in Franklin's place. I kind of changed a couple of things. Over here, I went ahead and built a bulletin board. I love the bulletin board because it gives it something else to each area and build. And at the same time, if you want to go to the bulletin board, you don't have to go to just one specific place. I got multiple in different areas, and I kind of like them a lot because it gives that little light. It feels like a place where people are putting things and news and all of that, and just paper. It gives it a little more character, a little more life. Okay, so here I finally got some of the furniture that I feel like will look good right here. This space is still kind of small, but it's perfect for what I wanted. It's more like an aesthetic, more for look. It's not truly so practical in the sense of like, I can't put a coffee table to be center. I can't put it in a table, and I can't walk easily to get to the fan. So you kind of have to jump the couch or the chairs, so you can kind of have a viewpoint. But just for the visuals and the way things are looking, and just to make it look nice, I like the combination. I like the white couches and the chairs because I think white looks really good with the coastal. And then I like this rattan style seating with that blue color. It's really good also. I feel like it's really good for the tropical vibe that we're going to. So here I noticed that, and that was my original idea. I want to have like umbrellas all around the seating, but I felt like it was a little too much, especially when I'm in there with the camera. So what I did, I kind of put them, I just left two, and I left them kind of diagonal. Like maybe a person wants the sun, you know, they want to get a suntan. So they're sitting where there's sun, and the people that want the shade, they can see where's the shade. And then as the day goes, then the shade kind of rotates and it goes to different places. But then it still feels that open feel that I want. That is, and then when you're sitting, and if you're trying to view the island in this particular angle, I don't want the umbrellas to be blocking. But if you like all the umbrellas, if you make that area a little bit bigger and it's more comfortable, maybe you put all 4 umbrellas. So approach that to the best. And if you don't like the umbrellas, don't put the umbrellas, because that's also it's an aesthetic. It's just, I kind of wanted the umbrellas. I just feel like umbrella goes well with this type of builds, and we added it there. Okay, so here's finally I'm getting more confident, and I'm getting more ready. I feel like this build is getting to those final moments, right? To those final areas that I feel like everything is looking good. Everything's getting closer together. So finally, we're gonna be cleaning some of this area, extra sand that we have. So when you're coming in, everything looks good, because right now it looks like we got this little hill under the water of sand. So we want to clear it. We want it to look nice and flat. Everything looks good. So that's all part of the process of just cleaning and doing all of that right there. And we're doing it on the same side, you know. And for finally the entrances for the water, it's gonna be nice, it's gonna be clean, and we're just getting to those points that slowly we're start looking at the final details, at the final approaches. What kind of more changes do we want? Is there something else I don't like, or something that doesn't feel right when you're looking at it? Here, like there, I was like, what about if I put a bench over here? Would that make sense? Because it got lights and all that, but at the end, I was like, you know what? I don't need the bench. I think that will really make it feel too crowded. And now I'm getting to a point that you may be seeing me trying some items, but now I do feel like I'm getting to a point that maybe it's gonna feel way too crowded. And if I keep putting more items, I don't even have space to walk, so I gotta be careful. But I kind of did want to rearrange this little area. I kind of wanted to add the fish aquariums now, like they're also fishing over here and they're doing their work and all of that. So I added that on this side as well. And I think now I'm needing one more fish. So here we go. We're gonna go fishing and start searching for that. But yeah, but as we keep thinking about this build, and if you're still listening, if you're still watching, thank you. Item placement truly is hard. Item placement may not be the easiest thing in the world. I know a lot of I've had comments in the past that people have written in there. It's not easy to place item in such a way. Sometimes they write, I like the way you place the item, how you approach it. And truly the best way that I can say is trial and error. Is you try, don't be afraid to spend 3 hours just trying it out. And that doesn't go just with the item, but that goes with trees, with plants, with flowers, with buildings, with the light posts, with everything. Everything that you're doing, everything that you're building, just don't be afraid to redo it, to rebuild, to take it all down and to reconstruct it in a way that you're truly happy. And at the end, I've been using this word a lot. When you look at your build, you gotta be happy. Don't think about what you've seen other people do. Don't think about, I wanted to make it look like that, but it didn't happen. If you're happy with your build and you're happy with what you're getting, you're gonna keep improving. I'm 100%. You are gonna keep improving on your build, on your take, on your taste as you continue to play the game, as you continue to the next project. I feel myself every time we are building a new section, I feel like I'm improving on where do I want my trees, how do I want to build this, how do I want to approach these specific areas, and when I look at my first town now, I feel like that one looks so much plainer, and the roads are so plain and just square compared with the coastal town. And of course, the coastal town is a whole different vibe. It's a whole different feel. There's more water. There's more bridges. There's a lot more going on in the coastal town compared with my first town. But I do feel like I have improved. I feel like my road placement, my trees, the bushes, the plants, the decorating, not being afraid to use all the items and to think outside the box. I have improved because we're playing, and we're getting inspiration from Island Tour, from other creators, from other people playing the game. Also, I'm getting a lot of benefit from you guys because you guys comment on the videos. You guys leave me feedback. Feedback that some people give me that looks so good, and other people give me a feedback. You know what? I don't like it because it's this and this and this, and they give me the reasons. And then I want to keep an open mind, and I look at those reasons, and then I go back to those areas that people are talking about, and I'm like, okay, let me see what they're saying. Maybe they're true, but because I read those feedbacks, positive or negative, if it's helping me, learn, it's helping me to evolve and to be a better builder, a better person that can build better layouts, better decorations, and all of that. And all that comes with time. So when you are also playing the game and you are practicing and this could be your very first island, maybe you just start playing Dinkum, and then you're like, I don't know how to approach, where do I want my buildings, where do I want to place this, do I want them far away, far apart, do I want a row here, how do I want to do this? then yeah, I want you guys to take inspiration from these videos. I want you to look at the row placement, and if you need something to start, then yeah, go back to the very first one, see the layout, see everything, follow a build, and then when you get to a point in the build that you want to take a whole different direction. And that's the great thing about these build videos, right? Yeah, it's a coastal tile thing, but you can use this, you can use the layout, you can use part of the build, part of the ideas for a whole different section in your island, you know, and then you can combine this build with another build that I did and another, and they're all next to each other, and you created a whole different island. But I promise you that the more you play, that the more you do, you yourself are gonna improve. You yourself are gonna create a rhythm, you're gonna create a way to approach it, and your decorating skills, your lanes, your layouts, your item placement are just gonna keep improving, because we are gonna get better. As I get better and you get better, we are gonna get better. And then when the next updates come, when we got multiple updates in the future in Dinkum according to the roadmap, so we're gonna get more items, so more items that may make things easier to decorate with, or even to create even better builds and to think more outside the box, you know, and to create even more crazy things in Dinkum that we didn't think about of doing it or how to approach it. And as we do this together, and as we go in this Dinkum journey together, you know, don't forget, it's all a journey, it's all a step. We are all gonna keep improving, we are all getting better. And then if you think back, you know, people that have been playing Dinkum since the early access came out, if you think about what you created in the beginning and where you are now, you have improved, you know. And then think about from here and to the next update, to the next update down the future, you know, 3 months from now, how much more are we improving, you know? And there's amazing creators out there. There's so many of them out there that are building in a whole different way than I'm doing, because the way that I'm building is not maybe the way that you like to build. I do build more of a town centric setting, city feel, roads, alleyways, backways. That's what I like. Other people build more of a cottagecore. Other people build more of a town altogether center, and then everything is scattered around. So there's different creators, there's different way to approach. There's no one right way to play Dinkum. Always remember that. There's no one right way. You know, Dinkum is a big sandbox that James has created for us, that is for us to play, to be creative, and just to have fun. Okay, so let's get back. You know, now that we are doing something new in here, so after reading so many feedbacks, so many things, you know, and looking at more pictures, I decided that a lot of people were correct. I think what I built before in the front, just changing those little sections in the front of the dock right there, it didn't look like it was completed. It looked like maybe it was in construction, didn't look just right. And as the more pictures I looked at, if you put Boathouse's dock in Google, right, you put that in there, you're gonna see a lot of them is, you can see kind of the stairs that I'm using leading into the water. There's stairs that are attached to the dock. Of course, we don't have those, so I can't use that. But the docks are always square and finished. So I was like, you know what? It's true. My dock doesn't give that look that is finished. There's something off about it when you look at it with the way I did the stair system. So what I decided is to make it a little more simple, to keep just stairs in the back and just bring the dock again to the front, raise it so it can have a finished look, and just stairs just leading down into the dock, into the boats, into the little boat houses. And then once I did that, I stepped back, I looked at it. I do feel like it has a more of a clean look. It has more of a professional. It looks something a little more realistic. Like we got to that point that everything is looking really good. And then there was this picture. Not all the boat houses has this. This was more like maybe like a fancy boathouse dock area that I happened to see in Google. And in the boathouses, they had like these lights under the water, kind of illuminating where the boats were gonna park. So I was like, you know what? I wonder if I can do that with the garden lamps and just kind of have a little more illumination So if you come in late at night, you can kind of see where you're parking your boats, and I kind of approach it that way. But as we continue to do a little of the improvement, do a little bit of the tweaking here and there, I went ahead and changed the garden lamps, and I used the same lamps, the hardwood lamps that we were using across the dock, but very more down in the sand. And once I did that, because those lights now they just stick out just a little bit. It's kind of like what we did on the lighthouse, right? You remember the lighthouse? All the way in the bottom floor, we buried them down, and it gives that it just raise it up, and then you got that those little light bulbs, but then illuminates a lot better. And once I did that, I think that was one of the final touches that it really gave the dock that nighttime illumination that I was looking for. And of course, we're finally adding one of my favorite things to add in any dock is the stone pillars. You can go ahead and use a particular fence, so you wood, you can use the cement pillar, but I feel like the cobblestone, the pillar is nice and round. It gives it that look because the texture, it just feels like it belongs in a dock, and I love that look. And it goes great with the hardwood. It breaks everything down. It just looks good. So I started finally adding that final detail that for some reason it slipped my mind. So once I noticed that, you know what, I need to add the pillars, and once I added that, it looked even better. Here I finally felt like I wanted this little hallway to kind of match the stairs, and then instead of being just one, now we got two square, and that also gave it a little more room to walk, so it felt better. So here we're doing now the final details. This is truly when you're looking at it 3 days later, and you're looking at it and you're walking, you kind of finding out what are the last little things that you want to do to change the dock to what you feel like it needs. And then this is gonna be up to you at the end. At the end, if it's too full or too empty, it's gonna be your call. What kind of colors you want to paint your boats. I went with more of a brown and the chrome look. I kind of like that right now. I've been trying to decide if I want to go with another color, what other color will look good, and this is when you guys are gonna come in, because I truly have no idea if I want to use another color or just keep it this brown and chrome. If you have suggestion, and I'm willing to try it just to see if I like it. If you think there's another color that will look good aesthetically with everything that we have, if you think there's another color that will look good, let me know. But if not, we'll keep it there. And if you give me a suggestion, I'm gonna try it off camera to paint it to see if I like it, and if I don't like it, then I keep it the way it is. But since I can't think of anything, and I haven't done a lot of trial, like bring all the colors and try them out. So if you think of one, and if you see you believe that you got something that will work great, just let me know and we'll give it a try. I wanted to match this corner to the other corners to be a little bit higher, so I went ahead and raised it one more square so we can kind of rearrange this aesthetically so it looks good too. It kind of matches the same high level from the other side, because I really like how it looks when you're coming in through the walkway, how everything feels from the top, because you can see those crates. So I kind of want to create this, but I still feel like this section is a little dark. So I'm still kind of working, and I believe I added some type of light in this corner very soon. We're gonna see. I don't remember which specific spot, but it's gonna come. We're gonna add the light. That way that corner doesn't feel as dark again. And yeah, so as we're slowly getting to the end, we are doing the final touches. And final touches, I want to say that you can never finish. You can't really stay there for a long time. So at some point you gotta say, I'm happy with the bill. If you're truly happy, okay? Because if you're truly happy and you still feel like there's something wrong, then work at it until you feel completely satisfied. But I finally, once I get to that point that I feel it in me, I'm like, okay, I feel good. I think I got something. And for me, it's always that feeling that I can show you this. Like, okay, I feel like this is good enough to give you guys the inspiration that you guys are looking, because this is why you guys are here. This is why you guys are subscribing. This is why you guys are hitting like. This is why people are finding the channel, is to get inspiration, just so we can help each other and I want to get when I publish each video, you know, doesn't matter if it's part 1, part 2, part 3, what part I'm on, I want it to also be good enough, long enough, but also that there's a completion in that video, that it doesn't leave you hanging waiting too much into the next. Because if you're following the build, you know, if you're imitating the layout, I want you to have a good point at the end of each video. And this is why when I'm approaching this type of videos and build, is to get to those points, you know, and I look at it, I visualize it, and it's kind of like a feeling that I get, that I'm like, okay, this is good, and it's good to show, and it's good to show you, and I feel like we did something good here. And then you guys take it, and then I always wait for your feedback. I wait to see what you guys are saying, good or bad, you know, because I want to keep improving, you know. I want to keep making videos you guys enjoy, that you guys are looking forward to, you know. And yeah, so now and that's basically this end right here. It's just, I'm just checking every detail, you know, as you can see. And right now I'm looking for those dark spots area that kind of need to be filled a little bit, because it's a little too dark. But I'm not looking for that over brightness, like to be super bright, because I'm not looking for that. I just want this warm light to go across the dock. And as you can see, now I'm taking some items off and putting this in, taking another item off, putting that one in, and we just go back and forth and just looking. And that's the most important part. I know I already talked about it, but like always, take your time, step back, look at everything, look how everything's looking, you know, and just check it, see how everything's looking, you know. Right here we are rearranging the boats because I finally added the lights under the water that I needed to. For the dock, this is when we replaced the lights from the garden lamps, and I added this ones over here. And for some reason the footage, I didn't hit record that day. I thought I did. I didn't hit record, so that was my bad. To go ahead and place this under the water, so that's why that little section is kind of missing. That was my bad, guys. I kind of forgot to hit record, but basically it's really easy. You just gotta I went to the water, you just excavate one, place the light, you're good to go. So it's not hard. It's just basically one dip from the level that we normally have the water. You place it down, but at night it gave it that look. It also gives it something extra, that little wood in front of the boathouses next to the dock, and it just gave the last illumination light that I wanted in this dock. And now everything looks good. You got shadows, you got dark spots, you got like some bright spots, and then everything, all the boats, everything around the area, the dock. I feel like the dock, it feels finished, it feels good, it feels completed, you know. We got the telly tower that matches this area very well, the color scheme with everything, and I feel like we accomplished the look, what I had in my mind, the vision that I had. I think we made it happen, and I can't be so I'm just happy that we managed it, especially the item layer system, to feel like we got things stacks and all that stuff, to feel like people are fishing and then they may be cleaning the fish using the animal feeders, the boxes. We painted some of the crates white to give it a little bit more of a color, and they kind of match the houses, the red and the white. So all of that together, and the build, I feel like everything is just right. Here we added one more little light, it's because a little dark in there. And what I did here, because I didn't want the light posts to be just showing when you're going up the stair, I kind of flipped them, and I was like, yes, okay, good, because first you got this pillar in the front, but by putting them in this corner and putting the static lamp on the other, it gave it that look and that feel, you know. And then, like always, this is always my recommendation, just look at your area as much as you can, different angle, go far away, go front, walk it, go to a whole different section of the island. If you have a helicopter, is the last thing that I do. I don't check my build by air to see how it looks from the air, because the way I'm designing the island is meant to be walked or driven in a motorbike, so it's designed to be on this level, not to be viewed from the top. But from the top you get this different view, but it's more like the surrounding area, like how everything looks in the map and all of that. I love this look. Now that we got good illumination, you see it all the way across. Just looks really good. And this is what I mean. You're driving around the area, you're walking in, you're checking in, you feeling the vibe. See if you see anything. And then I myself, 3-4 days later, I may come back, look at it one more time, just to see if I want to change anything else, or if I need to add something else, because you need that break. I will tell you 100%, you need a break for a couple days, so you can kind of come back really refreshed to this build and then look at it, or any build that you're doing. And once you do that, you come back and you'll see it and you'll be like, okay, it's 100% done. And then we get the next update, we get new items, and then we get to redo it. Woo! Yeah, so I mean, that's how it is, right? But guys, we made it to the end of the video. Part 3 is done. We're gonna be moving, and I think we're moving towards the pool area that I wanna make, that's connected to this dock on the other side when the steps are going down. So I'm excited for that. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit a like, subscribe if you wanna see more videos, and we'll see you next time. Alright, see you later. Bye.